picked up this book on Louis XIV, and they had these incredible cartouches around the people, the portraits in that period. And the cartouches is a border around a portrait before the frame, even a fancy border before the frame. I thought, how incredible! I haven't seen any modern portraits with that at all. So I came home and I started exploring geometry as cartouches, and that came out in those paintings in the back. It's a cartouche that's around the portrait that allows the head to float over kind of a skeletal geometry in brilliant quinacridone violet. When I started exploring countries, I got away from American pigments or American paints per se, and I explored the pigments in those different countries that they used, whether it was chalk, sand, whatever the country was going to use to express itself. In China it was black lime, in India it was more pastes and plasters and pastes and temperas and eggs, and in Florence and Venice and in Italy it was more beautiful oils and ochres and natural, thick, delicious, volcanic Renaissance eruptions. And in Mexico it was more chalks and water and lemon and vegetables and oil and things like that. So every country is different, exploring those. So then coming back after going to those countries and coming back to America, where you have such a incredible industry, the pigment, unbelievable. The pigments and the colors that are created here for the advertising world, for the commercial world, for plastics, for cars, for tools, whether it's a bright red handle for tools or bright yellow for a chainsaw. There's just so much color here that it's incredible. So my idea when I came back from traveling was to find the best sources for those colors that I could find from industry, and then bring them all together into my studio and start creating with them. Decided to master as much as I could in geometry, grids, not just 1 or 2 point perspective, but up to 10, 20, 30 point perspective, and sacred geometry, like in this painting, over this yellow painting with the Star of David in it, expressed in many different levels, and different 1 point perspectives, geometry drawing you into a space, almost of a hypnotic, swaying you into a space. Geometry as being a tantalizing moment. Not just a straight, cold geometry, but geometry you can have so much fun with, like they've done in Oriental rugs from so many years ago, and motifs, circular motifs with geometry inside it as halos, or as pupils of the eye, or as the navel. You know, everything from doing a little bit of geometry in the background to taking that same space and making a navel out of it, or a toenail, or an eyeball, or an earlobe. Any size, you know, going from button size up to the whole size of the canvas with that same piece of geometry, shrinking and changing the scales back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you get a new kind of perspective that pops out. Ever since I can remember, it's just what I've liked to do, is I just like to make images with things and make explorations with my mind, to explore with not just my mind, but with my heart and my whole being, to explore things, and painting is a way of doing it. It's a way of expressing it. It's a way of making it real to me. And it makes it an endless surprise, even the things that you've known over and over and over again to be true. All of a sudden you're there and you're doing something, and you see this person, you see the whole being in a completely new light, and that becomes the painting.